I'm very disappointed that in all the years Clay won, and I didn't see you ever on the court talking smack to one of the other players and rubbing it in. Can you explain to me what the hell was going on yesterday?
Listen, man, I saw that whole thing, and I don't blame Giannis at all. What was Tyrese
What was
Halliburton?
he doing?
What are you doing, man? You're not playing. That was embarrassing. You know, if I had done that, even tried or attempted to do that, Clay would have disowned me as a father. You know, keep your ass in the stands where you belong. You're the parent. What are you doing on the court?
Oh my
Crash to a
gosh!
great Hall of Famer like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Where's the respect towards any opponent, whether it's Giannis or the 12th man on the Bucks? It doesn't matter. But especially, you're going to talk smack to Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the greatest players in the history of this game. You don't have that kind of respect and reverence for him. This man just laid it all out on the court, left his heart out there, and you're going to come out there and talk trash like you're in the playground talking to your boys. And that was embarrassing. And I know he's all caught up in the emotion. He's happy for his son, I see it's supposed to be. But show some decorum, show some class. He showed no class last night. That was disappointing to see. Obviously, Tyrese apologized for his father's behavior. But
and how about that? The son apologizes for the father.
You're a grown
Isn't the father supposed to be the one sending the message to his son?
You're a grown man. Yes, be happy for Tyrese. Cheer and scream and yell from your seat from the sideline and pump your fists and jump up in the air. But don't don't go out there and taunt the opponent like that. I mean, that was just so low class. That ticked me off when I saw that. Say, man, obviously you can't hit anybody, but he needed to be tapped upside the head or something.
Right when I saw that. And by the way, I'm watching Inside the NBA after, and Charles and Kenny were basically like, yeah, what the hell was he doing? And Shaq was like, that comes with the territory. I'm like, Shaq, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't understand the angle.
Yeah,
there.
I don't understand. Shaq is a good guy, so generous, so kind. But I saw that whole thing and I was like, what are you talking about? That is, no parent is supposed to do that. That is low class. Kenny were right. Ernie was right. I don't know why Shaq was trying to argue the other side, to be contrary, I guess.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. But no, there's never any justification or reason for parents or family members to get out on the court and taunt the opposition like that. And I don't understand how Shaq could defend that. I mean, I guess he was trying to be cool. Yes, fans do. Some fans probably will do it. Shaq's right. Fans would do it. But family members aren't supposed to do it. But he
went on the court like he was I mean, listen, I'm not watching every Pacers game. Maybe he's on the court every game, but he went on the court as if he dropped 35 points and had 16 rebounds and wanted to let Giannis know that he's the second best player. It made no sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, Shaq is right in the way. Fans, I've seen fans do it. Get out of control. But if you're a family member, no, you got to control yourself and show your opponents more respect, because you don't want to embarrass your son or your family name.
Michael, what was before the series started? I said Lakers in 6. So I clearly felt, and by the way, no disrespect to Minnesota. I thought this would be a tough series, the whole thing. Did you give a prediction before the series started? And B, just kind of how surprised are you that tonight could be potentially the final game of the Lakers season?
Yeah, I made a prediction before the series started. I predicted something that started with the word sleep, or something that started the word deep. Let's see, what else did I predict? I predicted something that started with the word keep.
Oh, man.
I forget what that word is. So.
Maybe you're the problem. Maybe, I saw all the 10 analysts of ESPN that basically said Lakers in 5 or 6. I didn't see any brooms out there. You thought it was going to be that quick of a series, huh?
Yeah, because I thought Lakers would win the first 2 at home. So that's obviously I had to set it up. So I said, okay, there's no way they're going to come in here with Luka and LeBron and win one of these games in crypto. So that means game 3, the Wolves would have all the pressure to avoid getting swept. So I figured in game 3, all the Lakers got to do is keep the game close in the fourth quarter. And then
which Minnesota, I guess, finding this out here over the last couple of weeks, one of the worst clutch team performances. 5 minutes to go and under, they're one of the worst, and they've been unbelievable against the Lakers.
Yeah, and I thought the Lakers with LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves, you got 3 of the best closers, fourth quarter players in the game. So I figured, boy, if we could just get the first 2 in LA, which I thought we would, go to Minnesota and keep the game close in the fourth quarter, those 3 guys would find a way to pull it out. And then, of course, game 4 would be kind of academic. So I did not see game one coming out where the Lakers just came out and got bullied by the Wolves, and that just shocked me. So obviously I was a little bit wrong on something I said was going to be something that rhymed with keep.
Well, okay, so let me. I think it's not talked about enough. I think everybody's looking at, maybe they're paying close attention to game 4, what happened, game 3, what happened. But what you just said about game 1, Michael, game 1 was kind of that. If the Lakers lose this series, how do you start a playoff series where you had a week off? You had a week off to prepare, and a lot of the quotes after the game, we just didn't look like we were ready for the playoffs. I mean, there were some quotes that came out of that game 1. I think we'll look back. Yes, game 4, there's a lot of question marks there, but the way they set the tone to start the playoffs, I agree with you, Michael. That they kind of the way they set the tone in game 1, I think really kind of dictated why the Lakers are down 3-1 right now.
And I heard those quotes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're not playing against UCLA or USC here. So Timberwolves is a pretty good team over there, even though I predicted a sweep. What do you mean you're not ready? You weren't ready for game 1? I was like, how is that even possible?
Mm-hmm.
Physically or mentally. Physically, you had a week to rest, so you obviously weren't tired. But how do you not be ready for the game in your head and in your heart, knowing that Minnesota's going to come to LA and try to get at least one game, and you're not ready for that? So that is very damning. That's a very damning comment or admission by the Lakers to admit that. I could see if you lose game 1 and you say, man, we gave it all we got. We were so ready to play. We just got outplayed. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody say, well, we weren't ready for the playoffs. I was like, what were you guys doing? You went over to Catalina and just hung out all week and didn't practice?
Yeah, and you dug yourself a hole. So now you're playing from behind all series. That's obviously been happening.
And then they go to Minnesota and they had 2 chances.
I know.
To the home court back, and they just couldn't close. They couldn't find who was there. Mariano Rivera. They couldn't find a closer. They were there. Everybody's criticizing LeBron for taking that 3-point shot, but we've seen LeBron take a lot of questionable threes from 35 feet, but they go in. And when they go in, nobody questions those threes, but they only question it when you miss them.
Okay, let me. Where do I want to go here? Let me. I for doing the pregame show for as long as I was doing the pre with you, there were certain terms that if I said it, you would say, be very careful of what you can't use certain words loosely. If I said superstar, there's only a few of them, right? How many superstars would you say are in the NBA?
Yeah.
Okay.
LeBron, Jokic,
Shea,
Steph.
Shea.
Okay, this is interesting.
Because now he hasn't won it, and I don't know if that's where you pause.
To me, he's a star. So when you say superstar,
yeah,
that means someone who sells out, who's basically box office. A Caitlin Clark, a Michael Jordan,
sure,
Magic, Bird,
Shohei. Yep,
Shea is a star, obviously. Superstar, no, I don't think. But superstar means you are the attraction. Believe me, as good as Shea is, and he's going to be the MVP. You don't see Oklahoma City games on TV that much nationally, right?
Sure.
Because he doesn't have that superstar attraction or makes people tune in to want to watch the way LeBron does and Steph and even Luka.
Can you be a superstar? Can you be a superstar on the court?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's one way he is a superstar on the court because he is the league MVP, but he doesn't have a superstar personality or game the way Kobe had, Jordan, where Shea, and I'm not being critical of Shea because obviously he's first team All NBA, but like Tim Duncan wasn't a superstar, right? He wasn't like, oh, we got to go watch Tim Duncan play. The Spurs are coming to town, even though we knew how great he was, but he didn't have that. He didn't have that that aura around.
Yeah,
that aura around him, like that glow, like Kareem and Magic and Wilt, guys like that era, that ilk. So even though he's obviously a Hall of Famer, star, and all that stuff. So superstar, when you're talking about attraction, where that team's coming into town and we got to circle that date, that's the game we have to go to. There's maybe only 5 or 6 guys that got in the league.
Okay, so I think then basically what you're saying is there's the definition of a superstar. You're also taking into account off the court.
Yeah.
If I'm just talking about on the court, and this is why I want to ask you this question. If I told you before this series started, is Anthony Edwards a superstar?
I think he is because he's one of the more explosive players in the game. He'll dunk on you. We've seen him do some incredible stuff. So, yeah, I would put him in the superstar class because when he's playing, I want to watch him. Can't wait when he comes to town because he's so exciting. So, yeah, I'd put him in the superstar category.
I know he's phenomenal. Nobody thought coming into the series that he wasn't going to be great. But I thought what he's done in game 3 and 4, my definition of Anthony Edwards, I feel like he's kind of taken his game to another level. And I didn't know he was not only going to hit a step back 3 in Luka's face with the game tied 103, but then the very next possession, draw 3 guys towards him and find Naz Reid, and it's a perfect pass. And kind of a hockey assist pass to Naz Reid that ends up in Jaden McDaniels. Do you see Anthony Edwards, what he's done so far against the Lakers? Is it better than you thought, or is it exactly what you thought? I think he's been better than at least in games 3 and 4 than I thought, especially clutch time.
No, he's not surprised me. I was hoping that this didn't happen. With Anthony Edwards, I was hoping he didn't shoot the ball so consistently from the outside, because if he's knocking down his threes and his pull-ups, there's nothing you can do.
How do you stop him?
You can't stop him because he's so good at creating off the dribble, gets into the paint. He's so strong. He's built like a NFL tight end. He's so strong and wiry and so athletic. So I knew the only chance we had with him is he has to be inconsistent with his shooting. If he didn't play this year against the Lakers, where he was 3 of 13 from the field, because you couldn't make an outside shot. That's the only way to stop him. Because if you get up on him in his chest and say, okay, I'm going to challenge him and get up
right by you,
goes right by you. Because he's so shifty with his dribble, so good with his ball handling, and he's so strong that he gets you on his hip, and he's so explosive, he just goes through three or four defenders in the paint and gets to the paint, gets to the basket. So the way he was shooting his jump shot in games 3 and 4, once he does that, if he's going to shoot like that tonight, then the Lakers are in trouble.
What'd you make of all the other guys? I thought Randall's had a really efficient, effective every game. Nothing that you're starting Sports Center saying Julius Randle, but I think Randall's been phenomenal. Jaden McDaniels might be the best non-star of this series, and he's had a couple games where, hell, if you're putting up 31 points and 11 rebounds, you're having star quality. What have you thought of just some of the depth of Minnesota?
Yeah. Jaden McDaniels, he didn't play well in game 2 when they lost, but in games 3 and 4, he's come up big. And Julius Randle has been playing like he's Julius Erving. So, yeah, he's been consistent. And in game 4, he was the one keeping the Wolves in the game. He was the one damaging the Wolves the most until Anthony Edwards took over late in the fourth quarter. Julius Randle was the one keeping the Wolves around. So he's had a very good series. The Lakers have to find a way to slow down those two guys. And if Anthony Edwards goes and gets 40, because that's what happened in game 2. Randle and McDaniel didn't show up. Daniels didn't show up that much.
Naz Reid didn't do anything game 2
Naz
either.
didn't do anything. Naz had a big game in game 4, of course. So the Lakers got to focus on those 3 guys. Say, we got to take those 3 guys out. I don't care what we have to do it. Make Julius Randle dribble to his right hand more. He's going to go left every time. You got to get up on, don't help out too much and leave McDaniels open for open shots to get him in rhythm. Of course, Naz Reid, you got to know where he is of all time, because if he knocks down 2 or 3 threes, that gets him into a rhythm. And he missed all of his shots in game 2. But you can't count on that happening all the time. So the Laker defenders tonight, they got to say, okay, boys, they got to talk amongst themselves, away from the coaches, and say, we got to contain Randle, McDaniels, and Reid. If we're going to take this back to Minnesota and bring it back here for game 7, those 3 guys have to be neutralized over the next 2 games.
Michael, what do you and I'm just curious more from a former player perspective. What's the chat amongst the players tonight? You're down 3-1. You lose, obviously, a critical game 4, which Lakers were in position a couple different times to win that game. They can't get one in Minnesota. What is, like, how do you not overwhelm yourself with, you got to win 3 in a row? You got to win 3 in a row. What do you think JJ's saying? What do you think happens in the locker room with vets like LeBron and some of these other guys?
We can think about games Friday and Sunday, but they can't. They just got to think about tonight. Just let's win tonight and get on a plane tomorrow to Minneapolis, and then see what happens on Friday night. all the pressure will then be on the Wolves to close it out because they don't want to come back here for a Game 7. And, of course, Minnesota will be ready to close it out on Friday once the Lakers win tonight. And I think the Lakers will win tonight for what that matters since I predicted a sweep. But I think the Lakers will take it back to Minneapolis tonight. And all the pressure's on the Wolves. And let's see how they handle the pressure, knowing that they don't want to come back for a Game 7 in L.A. And maybe they'll play shaky, or maybe they'll choke in the fourth quarter like we did in Games 3 and 4. So the key for the Lakers today is don't think about Friday. Don't think about Sunday. Let's just take care of business tonight. And we'll basically, this is turned into an NCAA tournament for the Lakers now. One game to stay alive. That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah, and for you as well, I know you're not prepared for the offseason. You're expecting June 16th or June, whatever that date is.
I was already, before this series started, I was anticipating, boy, it's going to be fun. I can't wait for that Golden State Lakers series because I knew the Warriors were going to take care of the Rockets with no problem, which they will do even in Houston. But I was anticipating that Laker-Rocket series, man. I think Laker-Warrior thing is how much fun that's going to be with 3 superstars, maybe even 4 with Draymond, the way he promotes himself. With 4 superstars in that 4 superstars in that series, if we could get to it, and then an all-star in Jimmy Butler and a potential all-star in Austin Reeves. I mean, but that would have been a fun series and the most watched series in these NBA playoffs, maybe even more so than the NBA Finals, whoever will be in it, if we could somehow get to the Wolves, to the Warriors and Lakers series. But the Warriors are taking care of their business. Lakers have a lot of business to take care of tonight.
Yeah, I thought the way Golden State's kind of played out their series would be how the Lakers similarly would kind of have that type of result. Okay, one more quick question on the Lakers, and then I want to ask you about a couple of these NBA series that are going on as well. JJ plays all the guys in the second half, doesn't make a substitution, never happened in playoff history. Do you have an issue with that? Do you want to see a little, couple minutes, give Gabe a little bit of run, give Bron a quick breather? What were you hoping for in that? Or what do you make of the chatter about JJ making that decision?
Yeah, I noticed that at the 3-minute mark in the third quarter, LeBron usually is out by then, or on the 4-minute mark. And I told John Ireland during the broadcast, hey, John, I think JJ is going to have these guys play the whole quarter. Matter of fact, I said, I think these guys might play the whole half the way things are going. And they have a lead. Momentum's on their side. And I told Ireland during the broadcast, I think Redick's planning on playing these guys the whole 24 minutes. And Ireland said, you can't do that. You can't do that. They're going to be tired. I said, I don't think so. They look at them. They're not heaving. Their chests aren't heaving up and down. You could always tell when a guy's tired, when he's bent over and he's really breathing hard and grabbing onto his shorts. But the Lakers were breathing through their nose. They
outscored them by 13 in the third.
Yeah, I said, and start of the fourth quarter or end of the third or the start of the fourth quarter, I said, I think he's going to come back with the same 5 and just play this out. The bench wasn't really doing anything when they did get a chance in the first half, but maybe, who knows, maybe Gabe Vincent or Dalton Connect, they got a couple of minutes, maybe they'll knock down a couple of important shots. But like I said, JJ looks like he was going to ride with the 5 in the third and the starters in the second half. And I told Aaron, I'm fine with it. They don't look tired to me. They've got all the momentum on their side. They're not, bent over and huffing and puffing as if they're out of breath. So I think and plus these timeouts are very long. And there's going to be some call reviews to give guys even more timeouts to rest. I said, with all this delays and the stoppages in action, I think they can play another 12 minutes and look fresh. And to me, they did fine. They just didn't make the key shots at the end when they needed to. When Minnesota knocked down a couple of shots, couple of threes to get some momentum back, the Lakers just didn't respond. It wasn't because of tired legs. They just didn't respond.
Yeah, and Minnesota, give them a lot of credit, too. Every punch the Lakers threw at the Timberwolves, they had a punch back. So it's not like this is not, I don't think, one of those games where you thought, and maybe some people would disagree with this. Oh, the Lakers shot themselves in the foot. Minnesota's been phenomenal as well. I mean, every time Minnesota needs to respond, they've responded. And it's not just a predictable, it's one player doing it all. Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels. It's been a few different guys. The one thing I will say that I thought was, Michael, is there a science to when you use your challenge? Do you try to hold on to these? Because I will say that Minnesota, Chris Finch having one left with 10 seconds left, I know it's not talked about a lot, but Luka doesn't get the foul call that the NBA comes back and says he got fouled. That's a 4-point swing because of the challenges. Is there a science to the challenge of holding on to these?
I don't understand coaches will challenge a play in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I said, what are you doing? Especially if
it's questionable.
Yeah, and especially if the game you think is going to be close. I would always hang on to my challenge until late in the game, maybe until the last 2 minutes, especially if I keep looking up and we're up 4 or 5 or down 3 or 4 or 5 points. Now, if you're down 25 or 30, who cares about challenges?
Sure.
But if the game is nip and tuck for 40-something minutes, I'm going to hold on to my challenge until late in the fourth quarter because you know there's going to be some crucial call in a close game that some player's going to go like this. You're so sick of players doing that in the first quarter, and the coach agrees to do it in the first half. I said, what are you doing? Even if you win the challenge, I guess you get one more, but why take a chance if could be a 50-50 call in the first half, especially if you're down 7 or 8 or up 7 or 8. Who cares? You got plenty of time to make up that score for the next 30 minutes or whatever. So I always question coaches for using challenges before late in the games. When you actually might going to need one, especially if you think the game's going to be close all game.
Yeah, I think the late game of Lakers-Timberwolves game 4 is a perfect example. I mean, listen, if something happens in the first half and a guy gets fouled shooting a three-pointer and it's 3 free throws and it's clear as day it's not a foul.
Even that. The first half, who cares? You can make
but at least and I get that, but at least you're taking points off the board. The foul that the Lakers had, and I think it was in Austin Reeves, and I think they were trying to see if Austin Reeves got his third foul or not. It was a questionable call to begin with. Like, don't take a chance in that one. Chris Finch having his challenge at the end.
Yeah.
That I feel like it's so underappreciated, him having that challenge for that moment, that situation.
I just wish they would take away the challenges. I'm so sick of seeing this home run signal that the umpires usually make. The challenges of call reviews have ruined the game, and they take so long. If you can't figure out the call within 24 seconds of a shot clock, play stands. Let's play on.
Yeah, and by the way, it doesn't have to come from the referees. Just have it all. Just somebody reviews it in Secaucus or wherever and says it's this way or it's that way, and then just keep going. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.